December. Do you remember how hot it was? Well, I was up in the north slitting the throats of the ponies as we do in the winter. And it was so hot by 8 rocks, I went in one of the caves. I went deeper than I should have done. And I suddenly looked behind me and I realised there wasn't daylight behind me, but there was light in front of me. And I went down, and I went down, and I came to a great cavern. And at the end of the cavern, lit by a blue light, there was a strange metal wall, and it seemed to be squirming, as if it were alive. And right by that wall, there was a little wizened figure. And the little wizened figure turned to me and said, "I bet you are surprised to see me here." Well, I was surprised. I'd never seen her in my life. And I said, "Why, who are you?" And she said, "I am the Lady of Posia, mistress of 1,000 glaciers, the crone of the north. And I have come to this your land, this your moor, because this cavern was once lived in by the dwarves that caught the soul of King Helm and destined him to ride forever through Britain. And I have come because those dwarves were the greatest liars of all time, crafty by hand and crafty by word. And they realised sooner than the rest that things were changing. The imponderables were becoming incorruptible. And so they created themselves great iron forms. And I looked around and there were great iron shapes. And they live in there now. But the poor fools, they forgot to realise that their nature is to lie. But iron never lies. And so they are caught. Their nature trapped by the creatures they have made. And when I heard that in the far north, when I was bored, you see, Valkyrian had fled, Ilmarion was dead. And since he came out, Lemminkainen doesn't do war. So I came here. I made that metal, and from it I built a new alloy, by which I have caught one by one all the tales that were ever told as they were coming from the mouths of the storytellers. I have caught them! Have you not noticed there are less tales in your world? Have you not noticed everyone is made to agree there's one narrative now? And I thought to myself, yeah, that's true, actually. That was my doing, I tell you. But you will learn to thank me, for I have given you truth where you had lies. Be warned, if the king of the dwarves ever escapes again, he will spread lies through the kingdom. He will take over your tongue. Don't believe her. Don't believe her, said a voice. Don't. She is lying even now. But do you not want to know, said the crone, why I have brought you here? This is the last day. I will capture the last tale. King Helm, that foolish bloodhound of his, the one that haunts his soul, is going to howl for the final time tonight. And when he howls loud, Helm will come riding. And I will capture him in my wall. And she pointed to a wall of living iron, and I saw sad figures coming out. And just at that moment, your head will be ripped from your body, thrown at the wall, and you will capture him in your mouth. And you will tell his tale and become part of my living iron wall. And at that moment, I will have caught all tales. And she gestured to one of the great iron figures, the one that was wearing the crown, and she said, "It is appropriate. In this figure lies the soul of the king of the dwarfs. He will rip off your head when Helm comes riding." And then she sat down, the creature led me off to the side of the cavern. And the crone sat down and started playing. There's no other word for it, the iron walls. Well, limbs came out. Voices were half heard. Songs, stories half told. Some I thought I knew, but had forgotten. And then all of a sudden there was silence. And 12 great chimes rang through the cavern. And at the end of that, ow! There was a howl like the end of time. The howl of a bloodhound, howling because his kingdom is in peril. And all of a sudden, there was an echo across the moor. The sound of wild horns, the sound of the wild hunt. And it came streaming into the cavern. At his head was King Helm, the Dark Age king. And he looked around the cavern. And I, when this was happening, suddenly felt the iron hands on me becoming fleshy. And I looked up and I saw where there had been just an iron shape, the shape of a wizened old figure, the king of the dwarves. And it seemed to me, that king and Helm looked at each other for a second. And then the crone advanced and said, "This is my triumph! Throw the head!" And just at that moment, King Helm, he jumped. He jumped from his arse. He jumped onto the ground and he turned to bone and ashes. And the figure behind me tore off its own head and threw it at the iron wall. and it hit the wall and rang it like a gong and split it, and I think the crone tumbled into the split. But I don't remember. I don't remember anything, because just at that moment my soul, it was possessed. And I took charge, the king of the dwarves, and I have come amongst you to give you lies again. And so you'll have to decide whether you choose the crone, who'll give you only truth, or my lies.